Wow, what an honor to be up here. Good evening. I'm here very honored to be actually representing so many women that walk the path of domestic violence. When I was asked to share, I wasn't just humbled, I just said, wow, really? Because there's so many people that could be up here. It is my desire tonight that you relate to my experience in a real way and see through a different set of eyes, maybe, what a transition from abused to survivor could look like. And how very grateful I am for all of the people in support that helped walk me through it. Everyone has dreams, and I've always believed in the fairy tales. I saw myself in the fairy tale. I wanted to be the princess, and I believed actually that I was going to be one of those ones that influenced and encouraged women and helped them get to their destiny. And when I was at a very young age, someone said to me, "You're destined for greatness," and I believed them. So fast forward. I got married at 19, 1 year of marital bliss, and 8 years of physical abuse that ended in divorce. Shame, loss, that gripping ache that I struggled coming to terms with, and confidence that at that point my dreams had died. When abuse began in my marriage after the first year anniversary, I wasn't sure what had happened actually. I was in denial. This isn't how marriage goes. This isn't what love is. I must be overreacting. Everyone fights, right? Each time I was hit or pushed or what seemed a justifiable action, he didn't apologize, so it must be normal and I just must be misunderstanding what he's actually doing. But he didn't apologize, so maybe I'm misinterpreting what's actually happening. But no, that slowly became the norm. Saying the wrong thing would trigger a dish to be thrown, and I just had to make sure I wasn't in the line of sight or flight. Conversations were soon at a distance because the flailing arms and the fists would often contact with my cheeks or my jaw. And sometimes while I was asleep, I would get an accidental elbow in the face. And it's painful to come to a place to think that someone who you think loves you, and you believe loves you, could inflict pain by choice without regret. It was the epitome of confusion for me. Webster's dictionary says domestic violence often occurs when the abuser believes the abuse is acceptable, justified, or unlikely to be reported. I've never seen this type of behavior before, ever in anyone. I had a great parent relationship. I had no reference. So I mustn't tell anybody because I must be doing something wrong. I felt that I had failed. I lacked confidence to make it on my own, which kept me bound. I was of the belief that a bad situation was better than no situation or an unknown situation, so I wouldn't be worthy of another relationship. The lie had been planted and rooted. And there comes a time when it's actually dangerous to remain in an environment like that, and I had become the lie. I believed it. So what's the trigger that says enough? For every woman, I believe it's different, but often we'll do so many things, for those of you that have children, for our children. And that was mine. She was mine. One day I was looking at my 10-month-old daughter, wondering if she'd ever desire to be the princess that I had desired once to be. I remembered a quote that Mike Murdoch makes. He says, "That which you tolerate, you authorize to continue to exist in your life." And I didn't want her to live like that. I didn't want her to grow up thinking this was some messed example of normal. I had hid my bruises from my family and friends for 8 years, and I so desperately didn't want anybody to find out, because then I'd have to act, and I wasn't sure how to do that until I had a daughter. I had existed in familiar but painful life of lies. I'd even told my mother that I'd fallen down the stairs when actually I'd been kicked down the stairs. And she took me to the hospital to find that I had a crushed disc. And even that painful reminder every day, I just still couldn't tell anybody. I so desperately wanted to tell someone, because just one person, just so I could be real somewhere. But the fear of others knowing and being faced with the accountability that came with that kept the lie buried. Until a glimmer of hope that life had to be different for her started me looking for what? That was the challenge. I had been so ingrained in that lifestyle, I didn't even know what I was looking for, but I knew it had to be something. Who would believe me? What would people think of me? Why had I accepted it for so long? Maybe it didn't actually happen. Maybe it was all just in my head. Maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe I was the trigger. Maybe it was my fault. No. I had lost who I thought I was and ever going to become. Emotionally, I felt like a victim. No one could bring comfort because I didn't trust anybody. I decided people couldn't be trusted and sincerity was non-existent. I was very fearful that everyone would eventually abandon me, so I planned to cope unaccompanied. That lie that I wasn't worthy of anything else governed all of my decisions, all of my behaviors, and left me very lonely. Einstein says you can't solve a problem with the same level of thinking that it took you to create it. I had to find somebody to confide in. And when I did, it was like the Band-Aid ripped off. She affirmed my value and she helped me walk through steps necessary so I could take the arm of someone who believed in me with a vested interest in helping me with me. This wasn't my dream life, and she helped me understand that, and I had a choice. I fled the physically abusive relationship with my 10-month-old daughter, very low self-esteem, no trust in others, sincerely believing women to be the weaker, less significant gender. Not a good foundation from which to meet my husband-to-be. But not everything happens when you expect it. I was sent an angel. A support system in place, the shelters, the YWCA, helped me with counseling. What I was feeling was something I was going through and was going to keep going through versus something that was done to me. Years of counseling helped me realize that I was not broken or alone and brought back hope. It shaped my current journey into one that would soon be a memory, and healing began when I changed the way I thought. While working full-time, I completed my bachelor's degree in counseling with a desire to help others and found that there was significant personal healing in that 4-year journey. I didn't realize the depth of purpose that I would uncover or the resilience that needed rebuilding. I graduated honors with distinction, majoring in grief counseling and conflict management. When someone listens to a hurting soul, it is so therapeutic. The result of seeing through a different set of eyes is not something that we can do alone. The awareness of the process positioned me for my future success as I was supported maneuvering through my trials of transition. Why'd you stay so long? I've learned that I was continuing to see a glimpse of the man that I had married, who I had hoped would every day return. But it was so complex, and a counselor told me once that in the 18 years that she'd been counseling women in abuse, she had never worked with a victim that said it only happened one time. Human relationships are complex, and for the ones in the abusive relationships, the abuse doesn't define the relationship. The YWCA is full of women with a heart of passion to see the abused healed in every way, to hold the virtual hand of everyone that isn't sure of their next step. When I saw a woman at the top of her game helping inspire others, it inspired me to get to the top of my game. I found a mentor, have a personal daily reflection of who I am, and I ask myself every day, what am I doing to better myself today? And what am I doing to better the life of someone else today? You must see value in yourself to see value in others, and you must know yourself to grow yourself. Growth isn't automatic, it must be intentional. I surround myself with people who can affirm who I am and that I'm worth it. Because we are truly all blessed to be a blessing. There is help to move to an upgraded version of ourselves, healthier, stronger, and able to first seek wholeness and then pass it on to others. We're not here just for ourselves. Daily devotion and my personal faith is how I maintain myself. In closing, I hope that after hearing about challenges and experience of mine, that you'll see with the right support, women can overcome and they can thrive. It is a reminder that through the help and understanding of the YWCA, we can support women to be all that they could possibly dream to be. And it's beyond words how I felt when someone cared, someone listened, someone provided direction when I was void of purpose and raw. I vowed in those hard times that when I got through this, because they helped me understand it wasn't if, it was when, that I wanted to be the light for someone else. So when I volunteer now at the Y, I see myself in the eyes and the experiences and the journey of some of the women that walk through those doors. I listen to their stories, painfully close to my journey. And when they don't believe it yet, I know, and the people that are there know, that they too can break that cycle. It's not the end of their story when they walk in the doors of the YWCA. They get to still write their new ending. And I'm happily married now for 25 years with 3 daughters and 2 granddaughters, and I would claim to be successful and truly blessed. Who we become impacts everyone whose lives we touch. So I am not yet who I want to be, but I'm not who I used to be. But every day I'm better than I was the day before. And your life can be changed in a matter of hours by someone you don't even know. And we are all destined for greatness. Thank you.